જોડાઈ રહ્યા છે સિમ્બાયોટેક ફાર્માલેબના CMD અનિલ સત્વાની સાથે જ કંપનીના CFO રાઘવેન્દર रामचंद्रन सर। गुड आफ्टरनून, स्वागत है आप दोनों का CNBC बाजार पर। अनिल सर, एक शुरुआत करना चाहेंगे। 96% ऑफ योर रेवेन्यू अगर सर देखें कंपनी का जो आ रहा है फ्रॉम APIs, सर क्या रोड मैप है आगे टू डाइवर्सिफाई सिम्बायोटेक मीनिंगफुली बियॉन्ड APIs ओवर द नेक्स्ट 3 to 5 years?
Thank you for having us on this show. Please understand that so far in our first innings in last over 2 decades or so, we have built this global leadership in steroid and hormones API segment, where of course all our revenues are currently from this vertical. However, in the past few years, last 4 to 5 years, we have invested significantly in 2 new growth engines, one called complex injectable as a specialty pharma, and other is a large scale, very large scale fermentation based CDMO business. और पिछले कुछ सालों में हमने कुछ 850 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा इसमें इन दोनों प्लेटफॉर्म में इन्वेस्ट किया है। तो जैसे ही अगले आने वाले कुछ वर्षों में ये सेल्स रेवेन्यूज और प्रॉफिट्स में चले जाएंगे, तो आप देखेंगे कि बहुत बड़े बिजनेसेस हमारे नए डायरेक्शन से आ जाएंगे, जिससे हमारा जो बेस API बिजनेस है उस पर जो आज हमारी 100% डिपेंडेंसी है एज अ फर्स्ट इनिंग, बट सेकंड इनिंग्स इज गोइंग टू बी a 3-legged business. One, of course, our base steroid hormones global leadership business. Second will be the very large complex injectable business, and third will be our large fermentation based CDMO business. So जब तीनों verticals अपने revenue और profit को throw कर रहे होंगे, तो ये हमारा काफी बड़ा business 3 pillars पे खड़ा हो जाएगा।
सर राघवेंद्र सर, आपसे ये जानना चाहेंगे, हाउ मच ऑफ द फ्रेश इशू प्रोसीड्स विल एक्चुअली बी यूज्ड फॉर डेट रिपेमेंट, और पोस्ट IPO डेट पोजीशन कंपनी की क्या रहेगी?
So we are looking at 150 crores of primary issue, and Anil did talk about 850 crores of capex which we have put in the last several years. Now this 850 crores has largely been funded by internal accruals. A certain part of that is debt, and as we speak today, the debt is roughly about 380 crores. So this fresh issue of 150 crores would go to reduce this debt of 380 crores as of today. And the balance of the IPO size of 1757, the balance 1600 crores is OFS, which is largely by the selling private equity.
अनिल सर, एक ये समझना चाहेंगे, एज यू मेंशन कंपनी का एक स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्लोबल मार्केट शेयर है कोर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड एंड स्टेरॉइडल हार्मोन APIs में। सर ये कितना सस्टेनेबल, ये मार्केट शेयर्स कितने सस्टेनेबल है, पर्टिकुलरली विद इंक्रीजिंग कंपटीशन फ्रॉम चाइना?
देखिए, if you go by the history of Symbiotec in over 2.5 decades, it has taken us that long, almost a lifetime, to achieve where we have arrived today. It is based on, one, the cutting edge technology, 2, the global scale of manufacturing, and 3, the very high standard of regulatory compliance that we have achieved. Now, understand, to create some kind of a global leadership in any particular space, in this case, steroid and hormone API, it's taken us ages, and we are one of the few globally vertical integrated companies who are essentially starting this synthesis all the way from a farm product called phytosterol, which is derived largely from soybean. So from a farm product to series of fermentation to chemistry, and having more than 200 global customers, it is extremely difficult. Of course, it has been very relentless pursuit to get qualified with these global accounts. But once we are into these global accounts, it is almost, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's an extremely difficult proposition for any companies to get us out of the business, because it's a very, very highly regulated, complex business of extra or additional vendor qualification, which has taken us that many years to where we are. It will take us for any other competition to get where we are. So based on this highly regulated, complex business, I think it is very difficult for anyone to crack into this business all of a sudden overnight. And as far as Chinese are concerned, they may be good with their pricing, their manufacturing capacities, but when it comes to regulatory compliance, there's no match to Symbiotec's compliance track record. So we believe we are very strong position. It's a very recurring, very continuous revenue and profit making model with a very durable customer relationship. All the companies that we're working with are sometimes more than 20 years, more than 15 years, more than 10 years of track record with each and every company. So we are in a very, very durable customer relationship business.
Sir, companies entering complex injectables through double chamber vials, bags, syringes. Sir, कितना बड़ा ये opportunity आप देख रहे हैं? How different are the margins from APIs? वो समझना चाहेंगे.
कॉम्प्लेक्स इंजेक्टेबल जब स्पेशलिटी फार्मा में करते तो आप सिर्फ एक चीज समझ सकते हैं कि इंडस्ट्री ट्रेंड जो है इस तरह के कॉम्प्लेक्स बिजनेसेस में, वहां पे ग्रॉस मार्जिन हमेशा 70-80% होते हैं, जो हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग बिजनेस से कुछ ज्यादा होते हैं. और जहां पर 70-80% ग्रॉस मार्जिन आ जाए, वहां इंडस्ट्री का ट्रेंड हमेशा 35 से 45% इबिटा के आसपास आता है. अगेन ये हमारे एग्जिस्टिंग मॉडल से ज्यादा होंगे. तो जो भी हम नए बिजनेस में जाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं वो सारे ही वैल्यू एक्रेटिव बिजनेसेस हैं जहां ग्रॉस मार्जिन हाई होने की अच्छी संभावना है. और चाहे वो हमारा इंजेक्टेबल सीडीएमओ बिजनेस हो, जिसे हम फर्स्ट टाइम आफ्टर इनोवेशन कंपनी इस ड्यूअल चैम्बर वायल को लॉन्च करें ग्लोबली. सो काफी एक इंपॉर्टेंट डिफरेंशिएटेड प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसे सालों लग गए एस्टेब्लिश करने में, और अब वक्त आया है कि हम इसे मोनेटाइज करें. और उसी तरह से लार्ज स्केल फर्मेंटेशन जो बिजनेस सीडीएमओ अपॉर्चुनिटी है, ये भी काफी कॉम्प्लेक्स और डिफरेंशिएटेड है. यहाँ पर भी ग्रॉस मार्जिन और इबिटा मार्जिन वैल्यू एक्रेटिव रहेंगे.
Raghavender sir, आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, with significant investments planned in biologics, fermentation and complex injectables. Sir, what kind of ROCE do you expect from these new projects?
Yeah, on our existing business, on the API business, we have a current ROCE of currently about 30-odd%. This has also improved from 25% to 30% gradually in the last several years. So you understand very well that on a base business of API where we can get 30% ROCE, the new business, Anil did talk about being accretive to the existing business from a margin profile, from a business potential profile. So the ROCEs of each of these individual businesses should be upwards of what we are already having today on the API business. And at a consolidated level, in the next 3 to 4 years, we are looking at quite attractive ROCs from the current levels.
Sir, with 67% of revenue coming from exports, how sensitive are your earnings to currency movements and US-Europe market conditions?
Look, I think if you get to see our exports, of course, this is a direct exports, while there is always an indirect exports which we supply to our Indian companies, and in return they do formulate and export it under the letter of access given from our drug master file. So our exports concentration is very high, but please appreciate that we are exporting to more than 40 different countries to over 200 plus global customers. So it's a very robust model. There is no dependency on one particular country, whether it's America or Europe or any other geography, or neither it is on any one particular customer. So it's a very well diversified portfolio that we have created in terms of revenues.
Right, sir. Sir, a company has added 101 customers in FY26. तो सर ये भी समझना चाहेंगे, how much of this customer addition is translating into recurring business?
Yeah, Raghav.
Yeah, so we keep adding customers every year, and there is a way how we progress with each customers. First we supply development quantities, and then once the development quantity is validated by the customer, then we start supplying commercial quantity. We start with a lower volume and then eventually go have a good share of that customer. So every year we keep adding various customers. So most of these customers in the initial phase are developmental customers, but as the business matures and as we move ahead to the next 3 to 4 years, you will see several conversion of these new customers getting added to commercial sales.
जी, एंड सर लास्टली ये जानना चाहेंगे, अपॉर्चुनिटी पाइपलाइन सर कैसे आप देख रहे हैं फ्रॉम इनोवेटर्स, पर्टिकुलरली फॉर कॉम्प्लेक्स एपीआईज, बायोलॉजिक्स एंड सीडीएमओ?
देखो, बायोलॉजिक सीडीएमओ की अगर पहले बात करूं तो आप समझिए कि हमारे पास ऑलरेडी इस स्पेस में, इस वर्टिकल में 2 बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट टेक और पे एग्रीमेंट्स आ चुके हैं, जहां ये हम रिवॉल्विंग डोर सीडीएमओ की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. ऐसे इनोवेटर्स, इनोवेशन कंपनीज जिन्होंने हमारी कंपनी में पैसा लगाया, हमारे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में पैसा लगाया है, और इन रिटर्न उन्होंने 10 साल का एक्सक्लूसिविटी हमसे मांगा है और हमने टेक और पे एग्रीमेंट्स लिए. सो दीज आर वेरी लॉन्ग टर्म take or pay based agreements coming from the innovation companies, right? This is number one. And even on the injectable side, if you look, you would realize that we have a very perpetual distribution agreement signed with one of the top US-based pharmaceutical multinational company, again, which has invested tens of millions of dollars in our company to acquire our distribution rights. And it's kind of a perpetual agreement. So these are very sticky businesses where not only we have used their complementary strengths of distribution of products, but also we have invited them to come and participate in the investment. So their skin is also in the game. And coming to this base API business, please understand, historically, we've been working the innovation companies to the big pharma companies and also very large generic companies across the world, including our own Indian companies. So our customer base is full of innovation, big pharma and large generic companies. So usually this is a very, very sticky and durable business, even in the base API business.
राइट अनिल सर, राघव सर, काफ़ी डिटेल्स आपने शेयर की ऑन आईपीओ और कंपनी के ग्रोथ के ऊपर. थैंक यू सब फॉर कनेक्टिंग. बेस्ट विशेस फॉर आईपीओ एंड लिस्टिंग. થેન્ક યુ અગેન. તો આ રીતે સિમ્બાયોટેકના મેનેજમેન્ટ સાથે ચર્ચા કરીએ ને. આઈપીઓ આજથી ખુલી રહ્યો છે. 27 ઓગસ્ટ સુધી સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરવાની તક બનતી જોઈ રહ્યા છીએ. સિમ્બાયોટેક ફાર્માલેબના આઈપીઓ મેનેજમેન્ટ સાથે આપણે અંતર્ગત ચર્ચા કરી.